Okay. Sound check. Before I will continue, I will read my speech. I just want to remind the leader of the opposition that in the 1987 Philippine Constitution, Article 11, Section 1, states that public office is a public trust. Public officers and employees must at all times be accountable to the people. Serve them with utmost responsibility, integrity, loyalty, and efficiency. Remember that, Mr. Speaker. Sovereignty resides from the people, and all power of the government emanates from them. Honorable judges, ladies and gentlemen, good evening. Our proposal to ban re-election of politicians who do not fulfill their promises is to promote greater accountability and transparency in the government. The idea is that if the politicians know they will be held accountable for their promises, they will be more likely to deliver and this does better serve the Filipino people. In fact, we all know that many of them fail to deliver once they are elected. This not only erodes the trust of the people, but also the future of our country. This is the very reason why we strongly propose this proposal to ban re-election of the politicians who do not fulfill their promises. My Prime Minister mentioned in her speech to make policy to ban this kind of politician through People's Initiative. First, I would like to discuss the significance of the People's Initiative. It is to promote greater citizen participation in the democratic process and help to empower the citizen to provide the mechanism and influence the lawmaking process directly. Also advocate for changes and to challenge government policies or actions that are seen as unfair, oppressive, or problematic. Secondly, our proposal aims to deal with an issue that frequently arises in politics, as well as to create a stronger incentive for elected officials to deliver on their commitments to the people. Also, this would help to rebuild trust in the government and ultimately lead to better governance. Thirdly, maybe our worthy opponent asked this kind of question in our bench and saying, how can you assess properly that politicians will fulfill their promises? Or what is the assurance that our policy is not prone to bias? This is the main reason why our Prime Minister mentioned in her proposal about People's Initiative. Because according to the voice of law, People's Initiative can help to empower citizens and to promote more responsive and accountable government. Through this, we believe that our policy can assess properly and not prone to bias to any politicians. Toward this, we make our country a better place to live in for our family, our children, as well the next generation to come. Our policies are, first, campaign pledges registry. To create a registry of campaign pledges in which politicians should be required to publicly disclose their promises in order to make it easier for voters to track whether politicians are keeping their promises or not. Second, performance-based evaluation. To establish a performance-based evaluation system for politicians in which their performance in office will be evaluated on the set of agreed-upon criteria. Those who will fail to meet certain benchmarks could be banned from seeking re-election. Third, constituency consultation. To require the people to hold regular consultation in their individual community for taking action to address their concerns for those politicians if they are fulfilling their promises or not. Through this, the Filipino people easily to file a verified petition to cumulate to ban re-election those kind of politicians. Therefore, our proposed policies will encourage politicians to be more accountable and transparent in their actions. Also, it will inculcate to the mind of all the politicians that they are required to deliver their promises to the people in the utmost responsibility and integrity. On the other hand, we reiterate therefore that our stand for this tonight debate that we are not curtailing the right of the ordinary citizen to vote and abridging the right to suffrage. Because from the very beginning, we never proposed to ban all the politicians run to an office. But only those politicians have failed to fulfill their promises to the Filipino people under with no circumstances. That is why we have the policy to assess and evaluate this kind of politicians. Also, we reiterate our sustainable POI to our worthy opponent. If they are disagree to our proposal to ban re-election this kind of politicians, has the Philippines run out of qualified and competent public officials that the same politicians who have been lording it over at the national and local levels for many years now want to continue to dominate the country's political system in the years to come? This POI can never answer any of the speakers from the opposition side. Thus, ladies and gentlemen, these kind of politicians will continue to govern in our country. Then they will continue to spread out a malignant disease in our political system. Are we willing to sacrifice our future? Come on, ladies and gentlemen. We must work together to ban the election of all the politicians did not true to their promises to the people in order to build a stronger, more accountable and responsive democracy for the people, as well as to prevent the cancer penetrate in our political system. For this reason, we, the government side, proud to propose